I was looking at your Instagram, and your latest post was a picture of you as Gordon Cooper, and it said, "Embark on a legendary mission." How did you feel going on that mission?
I was pretty terrified, to be honest, because the history and the just the scope of the beginnings of NASA and sort of these seven astronauts who essentially became the most famous people on the planet. It's a lot of pressure. So yeah, I was terrified. I was excited. I was excited.
Yeah, but add to that, like you knew about this project for a while, but you really were only given a day and a half's notice to get on a plane to say you got the role. Does that add to the pressure, or did you feel better about that because there was no time to get as nervous as you maybe could have gotten?
Yeah, I mean, I think it sort of, in a weird way, it kind of helped because I didn't have time to get too panicked about playing an actual American hero, a real guy. I just sort of had to knuckle down and try and focus on playing the character as was written in what I think was the best pilot script I've ever read. So um, yeah, it was kind of it was more freeing, I think, than anything, because if I had more the luxury of more time. Now I'd read the book, and I obviously, as soon as I knew I was going to do it, I was listening to interviews with him, reading articles about him, all that kind of stuff. But I think if I'd had more time, I might have possibly overthought it too much. And sometimes it's great. I love that side of preparation and having time to do that. But sometimes you have to do all that work and then let it go. You know what I mean? To be able to play the character. Because if you get too bogged down with, oh well, no, well, he had to sound exactly like this, or he moved a certain way, then you begin to become a caricature of the guy, as opposed to actually playing him. If that makes sense.
Totally, totally. But what about all the training that usually goes into playing a character like this? Because there are some physical scenes in there. Did you just go in and go, look, we'll just see how we go? Because like stuff like the gravity training they do, and how did you find all of that?
Yeah, I mean, I was excited to get to do. At one point, Jake and I, we get to go on this thing that's called a mastiff, and it's where you spin on all different axes, and you have to sort of level.
I get sick just watching it. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, well, I know that Jake sort of felt a little bit ill. I was perfect. I was fine. So I could have done it all day. No, but it's stuff like I get excited by doing stuff like that. I love doing my own stunts and everything. And so I was ready to go. In fact, I was hoping that we were going to get to do some space camp kind of stuff, like go up and do anti-gravity sort of training and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't have time, and I think probably insurance-wise, it's probably best not to send up 7 to 13 actors up to the edge of the atmosphere and plummet straight down so they lose weight.
Yeah. But you did get to do some really cool stuff. Offset, you guys, I saw, were hanging out, going to basketball games. Yourself and Patrick Adams, I'm sure the rest of the cast did too, but I saw a photo of you two at a NASA gala event.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Yeah, and that was 2 days after I arrived. We got invited to the 50th anniversary of the moon landing in Cape Canaveral, in NASA itself, and we were sort of the only civilians there who weren't, related to astronauts. And so there was Jake, Patrick, Jennifer Davison, and Michael Hampton, two exec producers, and who else was there? Anyway, we were there. We were there, and Mark Lafferty. I should remember that he wrote the show. Mark, and we got to go, but we were standing. They were sort of introducing all the people who were there, different astronauts, and like Neil deGrasse Tyson was there, and Professor Brian Cox was there, and then they said, "We've got the cast of The Right Stuff," and we sort of had to stand up and wave like this to a room full of actual real astronauts and physicists. So it was kind of a very surreal moment,
Is that when you get starstruck?
Yeah, I think it is a little bit. It's sort of, Michael Collins was there, who, sort of, he flew the capsule around to the dark side of the moon while Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong were on the moon. And sort of when you see somebody there like that, it's kind of, crazy. Somebody who's such a part of history, you know. I got to talk to a couple of astronauts that night, and that was really weird because, you know, they were like, "What's it like to do a TV show?" You know, some of them had seen a show that I'd been on, and I was like, "But you've been off the planet. You know, you've actually been, you know." And I sort of asked them, you know, "What's the first thing you do?" And they said that every single one of them is like, "We turn around and look to see what the Earth looks like from space," and that's like, I can't even comprehend that. You know?
That is so cool. In this, there's 108 people going for the 7 roles. And this reminded me of the acting industry where you've got so many people going for that one coveted role. How do you deal with auditions? How do you make sure that they're not daunting? And then how do you deal with getting so close and with all the rejection that comes with this industry before you get the success?
Well, that's a good question. You know, it's incredibly difficult, you know. I did a movie, it's 10 years ago now, called The Right, and it was my first sort of big job. And I remember there was like interviews and stuff and articles saying, you know, it was overnight kind of thing, not realizing that I was working for 11, 12 years as an actor, not getting jobs at all, not getting much work at all. And it can be incredibly difficult. The amount of times that I was about to give up, to stop, because you just, the amount of rejection that you get. But then you have to realize that most of the time it's not actually even about you. It's not about your performance. Sometimes you might have the best performance, or you might feel like, you know, you definitely are as equal to do, but sometimes the director has a specific person in mind, or a specific way they want somebody to look. Of course, then you never get told that, you know, you just get told, no, it's not going to work out. And I always kind of say, like, if you really do believe in yourself, it's important to just keep doing what you love, and trying to figure out a way that you can cope with that, and sort of have a belief in yourself. You know, I was lucky to have my family and, you know, my wife and stuff with me the whole way, saying, look, we believe in you too. So, but it is tough. It's tough. Yeah. You know, it's a tough business.
But then you go on and you get stuff like The Last Right. You get Once Upon a Time. When you look back at that time, how do you look back at that?
I mean, I just, you know, I feel very, very, very lucky and blessed to have gotten to do the work that I have, and play the characters that I have. You know, you sort of, it's you know, when you're doing a job, you just you're working on it. You're not thinking about, okay, this is going to be the most amazing thing you have to do. You've got a job to do, that you have to play the character that they've hired you to play. But it's only now, in the luxury of hindsight, you look back and you go, what an amazing experience, you know, to get to play a 900-year-old pirate dressed in black and stuff, you know. So, I just, you know, I feel very lucky. Really.
And what about when you go, okay, my next project is with Dolly Parton, Heartstrings? Yeah. Like, hello, legend. You go from one legendary project to another.
I know, yeah. That was a sort of out of the blue. I had a meeting. They said, you know, is there anything that you'd love to do? And I said, I've always wanted to do a Western. They were like, well, lucky we have one. And then it was with Dolly Parton, and she's just the most inspirational person that you could ever possibly meet. You know, she's just an incredible woman, and lovely, lovely, lovely. So it was great, you know, so much fun. I didn't actually think that she'd be there. I didn't, you know, when I went over to do it. Well, she was quite a bit, and we got to spend some time and have lunches, and I'd go up on her tour bus, and she gave me a tour around her tour bus.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Finally, Colin, on your Instagram, again, you had a picture of your last day, and you had last day, it's been an honour. Does this mean there's no season 2? Are we ending at season 1?
That's not what that means, no.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm hoping that we'll be talking again for season 2. It's so great to see you doing so well. Thanks for taking the time to chat to us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Colin.